Understanding labor unions, their purpose, structure, and impact. Labor unions have played a crucial role in shaping the working landscape in the United States and around the world. These organizations stand as representations of collective interests among workers, functioning as a bridge between employees and employers in negotiations for better wages, benefits, and working conditions. This article delves into the history, structure, purpose, and current state of labor unions, as well as the challenges they face in the modern workforce. What is a labor union? A labor union is an organization of workers in a specific industry, trade, or company dedicated to representing its members. Unions primarily focus on collective bargaining with employers over issues such as pay scales, working hours, working conditions, and employee benefits. Through a process called collective bargaining, union representatives negotiate agreements that must receive the approval of union members via voting. Historical context. Labor unions in the U.S. trace their origins back to the late 18th century. The first documented union was formed by Philadelphia shoemakers in 1794. Over time, unions evolved, leading to the establishment of larger federations, including the Federation of Organized Trades and Labor Unions in 1881 and the American Federation of Labor, AFL, in 1886. The merger of the AFL and the Congress of Industrial Organizations, CIO, in 1955 created the American Federation of Labor and Congress of Industrial Organizations, AFL-CIO, which continues to serve as one of the dominant labor organizations in the country. Key takeaways about labor unions. Collective representation. Unions represent the collective interests of workers, negotiating wages and working conditions on their behalf. Democratic structure. Most labor unions operate democratically, with members electing their representatives. Legal obligations. U.S. law mandates that employers negotiate in good faith with unions, although they are not compelled to accept any particular terms. Dues and advocacy. Members typically pay union dues, which fund the organization's activities, including negotiation efforts and legal representation. How labor unions operate. Labor unions are generally structured similarly, featuring local chapters under national organizations. The two largest organizations in the U.S. are the Change to Win Federation and the AFL-CIO. Local unions represent varied sectors, including public service employees, healthcare professionals, and educational staff. Collective bargaining agreements, CBAs. The process of collective bargaining culminates in a collective bargaining agreement, CBA, which outlines the agreed-upon terms of employment, including wages, benefits, and workplace policies. Once a CBA is signed, employers cannot unilaterally alter its terms without union consent. It is important to note that while CBAs provide robust protection for workers, they eventually expire, necessitating ongoing negotiation for renewal. The modern landscape of labor unions. Labor unions have faced a decline in membership throughout recent decades, largely due to factors such as shifts in the economy, the rise of the gig economy, and legal changes limiting union power. In 2023, approximately 14.4 million U.S. workers, about 10% of the workforce, were union members. Despite this decline, unions remain particularly strong in the public sector, with about a third of union members working in government positions. Notable labor unions. One of the most prominent labor unions in the U.S. is the National Education Association, NEA, which represents nearly 3 million education professionals, including public school teachers, substitute teachers, and support staff. The NEA advocates for better wages and working conditions in educational institutions, making significant contributions to shaping educational policies nationwide. Challenges facing labor unions. Labor unions are often embroiled in controversy, facing criticisms from various directions. Political and legal challenges. Recent legislation, such as the Janus v. AFSM decision in 2018, has permitted public employees to opt out of paying union dues, thereby threatening the financial stability of unions. Decline of manufacturing jobs. many traditional blue-collar jobs have moved overseas or undergone significant structural changes, leading to declining union membership among these worker groups. Allegations of misconduct. Some unions, particularly in law enforcement, have been criticized for protecting members accused of misconduct. In some cases, internal protections may inadvertently shield violent behavior, sparking debates on the reform of such unions. The role of labor unions in politics. Labor unions significantly influenced the political landscape by endorsing candidates, lobbying for labor-friendly policies, and advocating for workers' rights. Historically, the Democratic Party has been more aligned with labor unions as they support many union goals. In contrast, Republican Party positions often view these unions as barriers to free market competition. Conclusion. Labor unions represent a vital component of the workforce in the U.S. Their historical impact has significantly shaped labor laws and workplace standards. While facing modern challenges that threaten their efficacy and membership, they continue to advocate for workers' rights and protections. As workers increasingly seek collective representation in a rapidly evolving job landscape, the future of labor unions will be pivotal in addressing issues of economic inequality and social justice.